Spring 22 is right around the corner, folks. And the Flow product team has given us, again, fantastic Flow features this time. And one of the most important ones that pretty much caught everybody by surprise is the Flow Trigger Explorer. I know it does sound like the latest blockbuster adventure movie by Dwayne Johnson, but it is actually not exactly that. What you get on your Flow screen in your setup is a button now. Right next to the new Flow button, you have the Flow Trigger Explorer. There is actually another way you can get to it, but this is probably the most common way you are going to open Flow Trigger Explorer. And that is going to give you a view based on each object, what flows you have running before save and after save. The list of them, whether they are active or not, in alphabetical sequence as far as I know. Now, after looking at that picture, you can actually go into each and every one of those flows. And again, this is brand new in Spring 22. You can open the settings in your flow under the gear icon, and you can give your flow a number, a sequence number you want your flow to run in. So, in other words, when you have multiple record triggered flows running on the same object, you know how we used to decide whether we want those flows to run before save or after save? Now we also get to sequence them. When we have multiple running before save, we get to decide which one runs first, which one runs second, and which one runs third if we have three. And the same thing happens for after save flows. Now this clearly tells us that Salesforce wants us to try running multiple flows on the same object. Whether that's a great idea or not, we are going to see. And this is super exciting for me because, I get to play with it and see whether I can break it, right? Well, this is the Salesforce Break channel. This is what we do here. We break and fix things. So what I'm going to attempt to do is to run multiple before save and multiple after save flows on the same object, and updating field values in sequence. And in a way, it wouldn't work as intended if I actually change the sequence. And I'm going to also see whether I can create a recursive action by doing so. See what the limits are. This is going to be an exploration video, so it could feel less scripted than the other ones because it is so. I'm going to start playing with it, record a video, and then I'm going to edit it and put it out there. Let's see if we can have fun with that. Enjoy. Oh boy, what are we looking at here? Now, this is the new interface we got in Spring 22. It is the Flow Trigger Explorer screen. And on the screen, I can see all the different flows that I have created on a particular object. And these are separated by fast field updates, actions and related records, and async flows. Now, your fast field updates are your before save flows, and actions and related records are your after save flows. And I have a pull down here that I can use to pick the object that I want to look at, and all the flows that are going to run on update, create, or deleted using this pull down over here. So now I have set up a bunch of flows, three in fact for before save and three for after save, that are going to run when I run this account, when I actually create or update an account. Now, the way I planned on playing with this and testing this functionality is as follows. Now, I created these 3 before save flows, and these are supposed to run sequentially, one after another, and it's going to be kind of like a chain reaction, chain process that's going to process things like domino stones flipping and falling, and one is going to process the outcome that's the outcome of the previous flow. So if actually I run these with the sequence that I intended to run these, like the way I planned it, then everything should go okay. If I take them out of sequence, then probably I'm not going to get the desired outcome. Now, I have built all these flows and I haven't tested them at all. I debugged 1 or 2 of them in isolation, but I haven't tested what happens when I put all of them together. Now, here I can look at each of the flows here on the right panel and see what version is active, what the flow is called, and so on. It would actually help if I could see the description here as well, which I don't, but I can directly open the flow and I can assign an order number, a sequence, a priority to each of these flows to ensure that they run in the sequence I want them to run. So I haven't touched that yet. I want to check that. And that's important for me. And the way I name these flows should be quite clear, and it should tell me the sequence I want to run these flows. So it starts with me, the use case is here. Okay, so when you're on an account, you will update the industry of the account, which is a pick list. And once I'm on the opportunity just a second. So let's go to the account record. And when you're on the account, you get a pick list for industry. For Burlington Textiles, this is apparel right here. So if you update this one to communications, what's going to happen is, and this may or may not make sense depending on what your use case is, but this is how I'm going to test this. So when I change the industry to communications, that is going to update the type of the account, and the type of the account can be customer direct, customer channel, customer partner. So I'm going to update this to customer partner reseller, and that in turn is going to determine the customer priority and the rating. So I want the customer priority, if that happens, to be low, and the rating here to be cold. And the reason for that, the way I imagine this is, I'm handing these accounts, the communications accounts, to a partner, and I don't want to actively follow up on these accounts. And I may have campaigns and follow-ups set up for the other accounts that I follow up on internally. And that's why I want to change the priority to low and the rating to cold, so that, I won't do that. So that's what the before save part does. And in the after save, I actually create an opportunity, assign an owner, and create a task. But, let's get to that a little bit later. That's going to run as well, by the way, when I do my test. And most probably some things are going to break. I haven't really. Actually, it may be a good idea to test the before save first. So let me go back to my flows here. And I think it may be a little bit faster here if I do this one from this view and sorted by last modified. So now priority, well, it's right here actually. This is my first flow that's supposed to run. So this type partner update when industry's communications account flow is the first one that's supposed to run. So when I go into my flow and I open the active version, I can check in my settings under the gear what the order number, trigger order number is for that particular flow. So for this one, nothing is assigned. I'm going to assign a 10 to this. Let me just save this as a new version and then open the settings under the gear and assign a trigger order of 10 here, right? So save and activate. So this is my first flow then. The type of the account is going to be assigned channel partner if the industry is communications. So that's your first step. Now the second step is going to be priority will be updated low when the type is partner. So let's view this one and open. There's only one version that's active. Save this one as a new version and open trigger order under the settings, and trigger order is blank. I'm going to assign 20 to this flow here. Save and activate it. And my third before save flow is going to update the rating code when the priority is low. So as you can see, I'm doing things in a certain sequence, and for this process not to break down, I have to follow the order that I am setting right now. So save this one as a new version. Go into my settings and set the trigger order 30 this time. Save and activate. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to deactivate all the other flows that are supposed to run after save. And that is the these right here. Opportunity create, owner assign opportunity, and task create. So these three will be deactivated. Now you may ask yourself, why am I doing things this way? Does that make any sense? And the answer is, it probably doesn't. You could do all this in one flow, especially the before save part over here. The only reason why I'm doing this is just to understand what the capabilities of the multiple before save and after save flows are. What are the potential problems and pitfalls? And how can I break it? How can I fix it? You know, I think this is important whenever you're learning a new topic, whenever there is a new functionality. Just understand the capabilities very well, understand the rules, and learn how to break them, right? Once you're good at it. So now we have these three before save flows active. We can click on the Flow Trigger Explorer here on this view and go to the Flow Trigger Explorer. And we can see that the after saves are inactive and the before saves are active. Now, the one deficiency we have here, one issue that we have here in this view, and I have communicated this one to Salesforce, and they have confirmed that they are working on it. This view obviously should show me the flows in the trigger order sequence, and it doesn't do that right now. It does it by alphabetical order here, by name, by label. And that should change. Salesforce confirmed that they are working on this one, and they'll deliver, I think, with the next release. So let me go back to my Salesforce instance here, and I am on Burlington Textiles. As much as that is a textile company, let me just see if I can find another account to work with that may make more sense. So let's work with here Edge Communications, right? And Edge Communications industry is electronics right now. So I mean, these flows were not active before when this record was created, but in any case, it's not assigned to communications industry currently. So, and the customer priority currently is medium, and the rating is hot, right? So all the things that we are planning on changing are different here. So let's see if my flows are going to work the way I designed them. So when I change this, and the type is customer direct here, and that's going to change too. So when I change this here to communications, the type should be channel partner, reseller, and the priority should be low, and the rating should be cold after the update. Well, let's see. So the channel became partner reseller, right? And the customer priority is low now. And the industry is communications, obviously I have updated that. And the rating is cold. So it did really work, guys. That's pretty amazing because I have not tested this before. Now, I have not exactly shown you the detail of the flows here. Let me just go back and show you a little bit. So now here, you can see my first flow is going to be this one here. Set the type partner when the industry is communications. Let me just show you real quick what this one does. It's very simple. So the entry criteria is going to narrow down which records this flow is going to run on, and the industry needs to equal communications for this to run. And it's a simple fast field update of update the type to channel partner reseller. Now the next one is picking up where this one left off, as the label of the flow suggests. So when the channel partner is reseller, it is going to, this one right here, it is going to set the account as at prior to low setting. And here you can see that this flow is picking up where the previous one left off. So it is going to look for the type equals channel partner reseller, and it's going to only run if that holds true. And it is going to do a fast field update to update the customer priority to low. It's pretty amazing that all these things are happening before save in chain reaction. It is pretty much like a domino show here. And if the priority is low, the rating is going to be updated cold by this flow over here. And this flow here again picks up where the other one left off, and it checks, wow, this one doesn't have a condition. So yeah, well, I did actually mess this one up. Let's correct this one. So this one needs to have a condition, and the condition is going to be if the priority is low. If the priority equals low, and then we are going to run this flow. And let's pick this one over here only when a record is updated to meet the condition requirements. And I'm going to save it, and this will update the rating code. Okay, so let's save this one as a new version and activate it and see if this still works. So I'm going to go back to my accounts, and this time take University of Arizona and change University of Arizona industry to communications. And I can see that the type is right now customer direct, the priority is medium, and the rating is warm, right? So all these things will change if this runs correctly. Let me just change the industry to communications. So the type is channel partner reseller, the customer priority is low, and the rating is cold now. So that's where we had actually an error in judgment in design, where we were not checking in our entry criteria whether the priority was low. Now we are doing that. It still works. So that's great. So what happens if I actually don't run these flows in the sequence I designed them to run in? So if I mess up the sequence, the trigger order, this should not work. So if I go back here, let me just review my flows again. I go to my Flow Trigger Explorer. My Flow Trigger Explorer is going to show me I have 3 flows that are active here in before save, and the sequence I want to run them in, which I cannot see here in the right sequence, I actually run this one here first, right? And then this one here second, and this one here third. That's how I designed it. Now, because each of these flows depend on the previous flow's outcome, if I take this first flow and if I change that to run as the last flow, right? Change the sequence, then none of these changes should occur. Then I'm going to break the whole thing, right? So let's see if that's what happens here. So the trigger order here was 10. The other one was 20, the second one. The third one was 40. I'm just going to give this one a real big number. Let's say 100. So save this one as, did I save this one as a new version? I think I missed that. Let me just do that first and then double check that it took my changes. Yeah, it did. And now save and activate, right? So do I see that here? Yeah, I have 100 in there. So I can get out of here and check this one on another account, whether it works. So I'm going to now, oops, right here, my accounts are here. I'm going to test this one now on United Oil and Gas UK. And United Oil and Gas UK is a customer direct type account in energy industry. And the customer priority is high and rating is blank. So I'm going to change this one to industry communications. And save it. And I see that the channel partner changed to reseller. So that ran. Customer priority is still high. And the rating is still blank. Why did that happen? The reason why that happened was I changed the whole sequence here. And now I'm running this as my last flow. The first flow that I'm running here is this one right here. And the second flow is this one. The third flow is this one. Actually, I'm running the flows in this sequence. And because the industry is not communications when this flow is running over here, well, actually, no. The industry is communications. I'm sorry. Because the type is not channel partner reseller. When I'm running this flow over here, it's not going to do anything. And because this is not going to do anything, and the priority is not going to change to low, as you remember on that account, the priority was high, this is not going to run. So the rating is not going to update to cold. But when this runs in third sequence, it doesn't really make a difference that it's running as the last one in the order. This one is going to still run. This because the industry is now communications. This is going to update the type to channel partner reseller. But unfortunately, because this one runs as the last step, it's not going to affect any of these. These are not going to run at all. So by changing the sequence, we can see how the outcome changes, right? So let's look at the after save side of things. Let me just fix this for now. I don't want this to stay the way it is. So this was the industry communications, this one right here. Now, whether you want to do this or not depends on your use case. And in a use case like this, it doesn't really make any sense to do this other than testing the functionality here. But your naming becomes obviously extremely important. If you do not name and label your flows right, you're not even going to be able to find out or find which flow does what, right? So find yourself a naming convention that works for you and your colleagues and follow that. So now the before save part all is supposed to work. We tested that, right? So let's look at the after save part. What is after save supposed to do here? And then let's activate them and also set the sequence. So when now the after save part here is also dependent on the before save part. Now, when you're playing with your sequence, you can't really change the fact that after save runs after before save, and it'll always happen that way. So once the before save runs correctly, we know that the opportunity is marked as low and cold opportunity, and the industry is communications, and the type is channel partner reseller. If all these hold true, then go ahead and create an opportunity for this account. That's what this one does. So I'm going to open this one and we'll take a look at it. And let's confirm again that we have the right entry criteria here. So we're saying if the industry is communications and the type and rating and customer priority are all set the way we want, then go ahead and run it only when a record is updated to meet the condition requirements. So, and this is going to be an after save flow. It has to be because it's creating an opportunity here. Create opportunity, That's what we are doing. And we're setting all the parameters, hopefully. We'll see now whether it works because I haven't really tested all of these. And I'm going to set a sequence here. You can set any number between 1 and 2000, but I'm just going to start here with my after saves. Start here with number 1000. So this is going to be 1010. I don't think you have to do it that way. That's how I chose to do it. And save this as a new version. And let me just confirm again. It took what I wrote here. Yes, it did. And activate. Save and activate. Okay, so this one is done. And again, this is only going to run, as you can tell from the entry criteria, if all the changes that I set up for the before save area to run executes successfully. That's the entry criteria here. So I created the opportunity, right? And now I want to assign an owner to the opportunity. Right here. And again, I could have done this in one flow. I'm not doing that because I'm just trying to do a stress test here on this new functionality. Again, I'm setting up all the criteria here the same way. It's done. And I'm getting the user. I have set up a user here in this org where the last name equals partner. So it's getting that one. And I'm getting the opportunity. And I set up my opportunity when I created it with a naming convention. And it's going to start with channel dash communications dash account name dash flow current date and time. And I'm checking whether there's an opportunity assigned to that account, to this account. And the name includes channel, it contains channel dash communications dash. I'm getting that opportunity and I want to update this opportunity with the description. I'm going to set the description as opportunity assigned to partner user. And I'm going to add a prefix to this opportunity name, and it's going to say partner dash. I think that's what I did here in my formulas. Yeah, it's going to add partner dash to the existing opportunity name. So now I want to check. Let me just save this one as a new version. I'm not exactly sure if I have done that. If I'm doing that maybe twice or in a redundant way, that's okay. It doesn't really matter. As long as I do not forget to do that, one extra version is not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to activate this one. Let me just repeat what this one does. It's going to check again whether all the previous before save flows executed correctly. And then it's going to find the opportunity that was created by looking up the string that I set to be included in the name of the opportunity. So it needs actually the previous after save opportunity to run successfully. And then it's going to assign that an owner. And when assigning the owner, it's going to also add a prefix to the opportunity name. And that prefix is partner dash. So I have one more flow left that creates a task. So it's this one here. And I'm going to open this one and see whether this one is set up correctly. Let's run through this. Again, all the 4 entry criteria here are set up. This is an after save flow. and it is going to get the opportunity. And when getting the opportunity, it's going to check whether the name contains partner dash. Oh, there is one thing that we forgot here. We need to add also that the account ID on this opportunity equals $record ID. It's a good thing we caught that. And it is going to create a task. And this task is going to have a due date of 1 month from today. And it is going to be assigned the subject of follow-up on channel of partner opportunity. So I can, again, save this one as a new version. So now my get element is correct here. I need to set the sequence. And let's give this one 1030 trigger order sequence number. And save and activate it. This is how my Flow Trigger Explorer looks now. So my Flow Trigger Explorer has 3 active flows in the before save area, 3 active flows in the after save area. Although I cannot see the correct sequence here, I can tell you right now that the opportunity create is going to happen first. Actually, that displays right now in the correct sequence by just chance. The alphabetical order matches the trigger order priority here by just luck. And then it is going to owner assign, do an owner assignment to the opportunity, and then it's going to create a task on the opportunity. So the displayed sequence here, the alphabetical order, is the same as the intended sequence that I set up in my trigger order. So let's test this one. I would be very surprised actually if this one runs correctly on the first try. So let's go back to my accounts and pick this time the Grand Hotels and Resorts, right? And this one, again, is of type customer direct. Customer priority is high. The industry is hospitality, and the rating is warm. So actually, none of these settings are the settings that my flow is going to update on this. So I can easily see that my updates will go through. I'm just curious whether the after save flows are gonna run correctly now. Here, let's see. Ooh, exciting. So communication save. No error messages. Shocked. And then, wait a minute. The task is here. Follow up on the channel partner opportunity. And related to partner channel communications, opportunity record. And when I go to the opportunity record, I can see that this opportunity record belongs to Grand Hotels and Resorts. And in the description, I have the opportunity assigned to partner user notation. And opportunity owner is Andy Atkin here. Well, there is one thing that didn't seem to work here, which is the assign owner, right? Because we wanted to assign the opportunity owner to the partner user. Now this one did actually go through. So opportunity, it says the opportunity is assigned to the partner user. The description is updated, but the owner has not been updated. That's an interesting one. Probably it's getting the wrong owner when it's getting the wrong user when it's getting the user. Let me just check that now. Okay, now I opened my flow to understand where the problem lies. Let's debug this one. I open it and look at that. Rookie mistake. Sloppy work. I'm not even setting the owner here. That was the whole purpose of the flow. I completely failed doing that here. So I'm going to assign to the owner ID the user ID from the get user step. So, oops, get user ID. I think it worked. It did. Yeah. All right. So let's see if that works. I can actually debug this right here before I go back. So I'm going to skip the start conditions, and I already have an opportunity created that fits this criteria. So that should be possible to debug now that I have that. So what I see here, owner cannot be blank. So it found the user, it found the opportunity, but the owner ID is null. So get user ID, it found the user. So let's see what's the problem here. Edit the flow. Oh, you know how something weird happened there when I was picking the user ID? I guess it never completed successfully. So ID, get user ID, done. So now again, well, I guess I don't need to do that. Let me just double check though it took. And debug it one more time. Again, skip the start conditions and run it on Grand Hotels. And it seems like everything worked fine. Yeah, the owner ID is assigned. So now I can activate this one and test this one more time. So this time, and I just, a few minutes ago, I just told you incorrectly. I guess the naming convention for the opportunity when it's first created is channel-communications dash the date and time and then the account name. Well, that's fine. That seems to work all right. So now I'm going to go back to my accounts, and this time I'm going to do it on GenePoint. So do I have any related opportunities to GenePoint? I have 3. And any tasks? I don't see any tasks here. And in my upcoming and overview, and when I check my field values, I see that industry is biotechnology, and the type of the customer is customer channel, and the customer priority is low. So that's going to stay low, and this rating is going to change from cold. Well, it is actually already cold. I'm sorry. Let me just change these, by the way. Let's see the changes better. Let's make this hot, customer priority high, safe. Because the industry doesn't match, none of my flows are going to kick in. So the customer priority is going to be high as I change. The rating is hot. And the industry is biotechnology, type is customer channel. Now, when I change this from biotechnology to communications, all these should update. So customer, the type is channel partner, reseller, the industry is communications, I changed it to that. Customer priority is low, and the rating is cold. I got my task here, and it is assigned, the task is assigned also to channel partner. And it is related to the opportunity that was created. And the opportunity that was created has the opportunity assigned to partner user description here, and the opportunity owner is channel partner with the close date of 6 months from now. Let's check also the tasks due date, and the tasks due date is supposed to be 1 month. Actually, I calculated 30 days. 30 days from now. It's the 15th of February. Voila, folks. The whole thing worked. Now, let's do one last thing before we close out for this session. I'm actually planning on breaking this in so many different ways, but we are running out of time. It actually became a very, very long video. So before I do anything else, let me just break the after save part of this flow due to sequence as well. So now this all depends on this. So if I change this, none of these is going to work, first of all, right? So, but I'm just going to check this part. Now, this is going to fail in a glorious way if I actually change the sequence of these here. I put this one as last. Then these guys are not going to find the opportunity to process at all. The get step is not going to find the opportunity with the special naming convention, and the update step is going to try to update an opportunity that doesn't exist, and it's going to fail. And that's going to be an unrecoverable error. So let me just go to this one over here, open the flow, and change the sequence. Save this as a new version. And change the sequence this time here to... Wait a minute, I don't have a trigger order here. I thought I set up a trigger order here. That is odd. Let me just open the previous version. Did I fail setting a trigger order here? Opportunity create. View details and versions. And this is the active flow. Oh, this has the trigger order. Maybe when I saved it as a new version, it just lost the trigger order. That's very interesting. Well, it's a good observation, I guess. Something we should know if that's the case. I'll have to observe that more closely. Now, I'm going to change the sequence here this time in this new version. And as you may remember, we set up the order here 1010, and then the other ones had 1020 and 30. So I'm going to change this one to 1100. And this is my opportunity create flow. And when I save this one and activate it as the last step, the second flow should fail, and the third flow should fail. So let's go back to my accounts, and let's try this on United Oil and Gas Singapore this time. And I'm going to change this, the industry, to communications, and save it. And you can see, folks, so we can't save this record because the task create on opportunity when account conditions apply, account flow process failed. Give your Salesforce admin these details: missing required input parameter owner ID, missing required input parameter owner ID, error. So it cannot get the owner ID from the opportunity. Now the task create flow failed. The flow prior, the previous flow, did not fail, or we actually set up the sequence incorrectly. Now let me just check the opportunity. So there are no opportunities here under this account, right? So let me go back to my flows. So the task create failed, but this one didn't come back with an error, which is actually quite odd. I want to check the sequence order on this one. It is 1020. So what this one is supposed to do is it is going to get the user. So it's getting the user. It's going to be able to do that. Get the opportunity. And it's going to look for the special name in the opportunity assigned to this account. It's not going to find anything. I mean, there are no opportunities that are created with this naming convention. And actually, there are no opportunities under this account at all. And it's going to try and update the opportunity that doesn't exist. And that should give me an error message too. It's interesting that I didn't get this error message before I got the other error message, which I don't understand why. But, you know, in the end, we broke it, folks. And it's easy to fix. Just change the sequence back. So that's all for now for today. Enjoy.